book and wax friends. I am Amber. If you're new, welcome. Welcome back if you're returning. I post about all things books and home fragrance, and today's video is my most anticipated new releases that are coming during the month of November. So these are 10 of the new books that will be released in November that I am the most interested in out of all my research anyway. So excuse me, let's jump into it. They are in no particular order, except I think the last one on the list is the one I'm most anticipating. So let's jump into it. The first book I have to share is The House Saphir by Marissa Meyer. This does come out November 4th, and it is a reimagining, like retelling of the Bluebeard myth. So let's read the synopsis. Mallory Fontaine is a fraud. Though she comes from a long line of witches, the only magic she possesses is the ability to see ghosts, which is rarely as useful as one would think. She and her sister have maintained the family business, eking out a paltry living by selling bogus spells to gullible buyers and conducting tours of the infamous mansion where the first of the Saphir murders took place. But when murder again comes to the House Saphir, Mallory finds herself at the center of the investigation, and she is almost certain the killer is mortal. If she has any hope of cashing in on the payment she was promised, she'll have to solve the murder and banish the ghost, all while upholding the illusion of witchcraft. But that all sounds relatively easy compared to her biggest challenge, learning to trust her heart, especially when the person her heart wants the most might be the murderer himself. So that does sound good. The next one is an urban fantasy by Adrienne Young called Fallen City. This comes out November 6th, and the synopsis is Luca Mattias has one purpose: to carry on the family name, maintaining its presence in the forum once his powerful and cruel uncle dies. But his novice ship with the city's philosopher places him in the middle of a catastrophe that will alter the destiny of his people. Maris Casperia was raised amidst the strategic maneuvers of the Citadel's inner workings, and she knows what her future holds: a lifetime of service to a corrupt city. But her years of serving as a novice to the last priestess who possesses the stolen magic of the old world has made her envision a different kind of future for the city. When she meets Luca, a fated chain of events is set into motion that will divinely entangle their lives. So I've been digging urban fantasy lately. It's not my favorite type of fantasy lately, or in the last few years anyway, but I've been getting into it a little more again. So sounds good. The next one is called Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz, I think is how you say her name. And it comes out November 18th. This is a cozy fantasy. Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as a dark sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlethwaite is determined to start over, not as the fearsome thorn witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest, Violet decides, will be her second chance. She'll set down roots, open a flower shop, keep her sentient, mildly homicidal houseplant in check, and prune dark magic from the twisted boughs of her life. Violet's vibrant bouquets and cheerful enchantments soon charm the welcoming townsfolk, though nothing seems to impress the prickly yet dashingly handsome Nathaniel Marsh, an alchemist sharing her greenhouse. With a struggling business and his own second chance seemingly out of reach, Nathaniel has no time for flowers or frippery, and certainly none for the intriguing witch next door. When a mysterious blight endangers every living plant in Dragon's Rest, Violet and Nathaniel must work together to save their community. But with a figure from her previous life knocking at her door, and her secrets threatening to uproot everything she's worked so hard to grow, Violet can't help but wonder, does a former villain truly deserve a happily ever after? So that sounds like it'll be very cute, and I do love the cover on this one. The next one is called Seven Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton, and it comes out November 8th. And this is pretty sure it's a YA fantasy. It says, in the cursed kingdom of Aragoa, the punishment for magic is death. Even the students of Vandenberg Academy aren't spared. When Viola Sinclair's deadly shadow magic is discovered, the queen gives her assassin a new assignment and a new cursed tattoo. 7 thorned rose on his arm. For 7 days, he has to hunt Viola down and kill her. If he doesn't, he will be the one to die. The assassin is Rose, or Ruse, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, R-O-Z-E, Roquelart, entitled prince, arrogant fellow student, and the one person Violet hates more than anyone. Roz should revel in the chance to end her life, but he desperately needs something from Viola and her magic, and he's willing to spare her life and fake their engagement to get it. The next one is called A Dark Forgetting, which is by Kristen Ciccarelli, who is the author of the Heartless Hunter, what is it called? The Crimson Moth series, duology. And this one is a fantasy as well. This is said to be, no matter how far she runs, the forest always comes for Emmeline Lark, haunting her with its mysterious disappearances and its tales of fey magic. When her grandfather goes missing, Emmeline is forced to venture into the woods to save him. There, Hawthorne Fell, a handsome and brooding tithe collector, brutally tries to dissuade her from searching, even as a magnetic spark ignites between them. Undeterred, Emmeline enters the court of the fabled Wood King and makes a deal, her voice for her grandfather's freedom. Little does she know, she stumbled into a curse that threatens the very existence of this eerie world she's now trapped in. To survive, she'll need to team up with the fiery yet secretive Hawthorne. If she fails, she'll lose everything she holds dear. So it feels like it'll be a romantasy. It sounds really good. The next one is called Ship of Spells by H. Leighton Dixon. This comes out November 4th, and the synopsis is, when Ensign Blue Mage Honor Wren is rescued from the wreckage of her first naval post, she expects death or disgrace. Instead, she wakes aboard the Touchstone, a mythic vessel whispered of in dockside ballads and royal war rooms alike. With a crew of misfits, a mysterious elven captain, and a mission tied to the dread wall, the crumbling barrier that has kept the overland and the nether sea from open war for 100 years. But the tragedy that sank her last ship didn't just take lives, it left something behind. Caught between privateers, princes, and spies, Wren knows each choice could sink her future or set the sea on fire. So that one feels like it'll be good for the summer. I'm into like piratey ship type books during the summer, so that one I think will be a fun one. The next one is a contemporary romance. It is called And Then There Was You by Sophie Cousins. This comes out November 18th. I have read When Sophie Cousins in the past, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. So this is said to be about a girl named Chloe Fairway. She is stuck in a production assistant job and living at home with her parents after a painful breakup. And she isn't where she wants to be in her life at the age of 31. The last thing she needs is to face the people who once voted her most likely to succeed at her upcoming 10-year college reunion. And she definitely doesn't want to see her former best friend, Sean Adler, who is now a hotshot film director, living the life that Chloe dreamed of. Desperate to make a splash and to save face in front of the man who might be the one that got away, she turns to a mysterious dating service. Enter Rob, her handsome, well-read, and charming match. The perfect +1 to take her to the reunion. The more she gets to know him, the more perfect he appears to be. Could it be that this dating service knows her better than she knows herself? Can she overlook the one big catch? As Chloe reconnects with old friends, she begins to question everything she thought she wanted. Maybe, just maybe, revisiting the past is exactly what she needs to move on. Sounds good. The next one is a fantasy, possibly fantasy. Well, I think it's a fantasy romance. Maybe YA, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly, but it sounds really good either way. So this is called Red as Royal Blood by Elizabeth Hart. It comes out November 19th. And the synopsis is, Ruby has never found a puzzle she couldn't solve, even though she's destined to spend the rest of her life as a servant to the royal family. Her mind itches for a true challenge, but no puzzle could prepare her for the king's decision to name Ruby as the next heir to the throne just before his death. Thrown into the viper's nest of court, Ruby is forced to contend with a kingdom in crisis, the dead king's angry wife, and the 3 entitled and annoyingly handsome princes. Then, excuse me, then, as if being newly crowned queen wasn't enough, she discovers a note left by the king that claims he was murdered and that she might be next. So I've read that this is kind of a fantasy take, or along the same lines, at least, as the Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I really enjoyed that series. So this one sounds really good. The next one is called The Seventh Champion by Sylvia Mercedes. It comes out November 12th. And the synopsis is, swept from her quiet life as an apothecary's apprentice to the treacherous court of the High King, Rosie Harpwood is shocked to discover that she is the long-lost daughter of the demonic Dragon Queen. Reawakening her dormant magic is the kingdom's only hope for salvation. But the journey is perilous and she'll need a champion to guide her. So the High King hosts a series of trials to determine which prince is worthy of the honor, as well as claiming Rosie's hand in marriage. Rosie, however, has other ideas. A talented healer and lover of small, fluffy creatures, Rosie wants nothing to do with demon queens or saving the world. Determined to escape this fate, she joins forces with one of the champions to plot her getaway. Trained from youth to serve the Dragon Queen, Prince Valtar has proven himself a ruthless assassin. Posing as a suitor to get close enough to his target shouldn't be a problem. But Valtar wasn't planning on his target being Rosie, the girl he failed to assassinate years ago, who has haunted his dreams ever since. So that sounds really fun, really good. I like the change. I like the trial aspect, but it's a change from what it normally seems to be, which is a bunch of girls competing. And this is a bunch of guys competing for the honor of marrying Rosie and helping her, plus the whole assassin element. It sounds like it's going to be fun. Then the last one, so this is the one I'm most excited about because it is the 5th and I'm pretty sure final book in the series. It is Witchlight by Susan Dennard, or Dennard, however you say her name. Comes out November 4th. So this is her Witchlands series. The first book is called Truth Witch, And of course, I can't really read the synopsis of the 5th book because that's going to spoil everything. But it's, in the 1st book, it starts out, there's all different types of magic. And the people that have magic are called witches. And there's like truth witches, a bunch of different ones, thread witch, that sort of thing. And this girl named Safi is a truth witch, which is very rare to have. And people like to use people that have that type of magic, because as a truth witch, she can tell truth from lie. She can see who's lying. And she is actually in the nobility, and especially in court, that is a magic that people want to get their hands on. And so she keeps her magic hidden. And then she has a best friend named Isolde, and Isolde is a thread witch, so she can see threads that bind people to each other, the life threads. And so that's where the story begins, and it's a lot of adventure. There is a little bit of romance. The story takes turns in the series that you can't even imagine when you first started the books. But it's a great series. I've been waiting so long for the final book to come out. I think the last book, Blood Witch, came out, or was it Blood Witch? Or I can't remember what it's called now. The 4th book, whatever one that one was, came out, I think, like 4 more years ago. So I've been anxiously waiting for the final book. I might need to do a reread before I read it, but I do highly recommend this series. It is a lot of fun. So that is Witchlight. And that's it, you guys. So those are 10 of my most anticipated new releases that are coming out in November. Let me know down below if any of these sound good to you, or if there's some that I've missed that you're looking forward to. There is quite a few like sequels, but I haven't read the first books in these series, so that doesn't do me any good. I can't anticipate them when I haven't read the first ones, but I know there are some sequels that are coming out in November as well, besides Witchlight. If you aren't feeling chatty, please leave. What should we do? How about, what emoji should we leave? Let's leave a plant emoji. Let's do some sort of plant for a Violet Thistlethwaite and her flower shop. So please leave those down below. It does help me out when there's comments. And I appreciate all of you guys, whether you comment or just watch. I am so grateful for you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet, if you would like more book and home fragrance content from me. And until next time, TTFN. Let's have her now.